Here's a piece of sassafras that I cut yesterday. It's 19. That's how much moisture is in there. This is the limbs that I heat treated. 7. See the difference? 8. Okay, so that's the reason why I heat treat the bows before I fire on them. It removes a great deal of moisture. Good morning. It's Thursday, March 6th. 3 days after this sassafras was a live tree. Just want to show you, look at my other videos, you see how I made this expandable gutter. I always hang the jig with the bow up so I know how big to make the gutter. There's one lining of aluminum foil, and then there's another one that I crumble up just so the air can get underneath the coals. And I kind of taper up the aluminum foil so it's a little higher on the ends where the limbs are. So I just wanted to show you before I light it up is the things I always say that you need when you're fire hardening. You need a pair of these heavy duty fireplace gloves and a stick. Stick is for knocking ash off and level out the coals after they get hot so there's an even flow of heat. And if you're moving it up and down for the proper heat, and it would slip. Once this is dry and it touches the coals, it could spontaneously combust. Well, as long as you're wearing these big gloves, once it drops down, you just grab it. It don't matter where you grab it, pick it up. It's all good. So that's a necessity. So now that I have it all lined and coals on, I'm going to remove this and light it up, and we're going to get started. Just put the jig over the coals. The coals still have a little bit to go. It's a little higher until the coals catch. But I just wanted to show you that with what's great about this and this gutter system with this little grill is you can move it, twist it, whatever. You can make sure that once you have, the right length, you could put it so that this bow is right over the center of the coals for cooking. Okay. So I'm going to leave it just a little higher for a few minutes. I'm not going to have a start time yet. I'm just going to let it for like 5 more minutes or so, just to let it dry out a little and let smoke start. And then I'll get back to you and I'll show you how we adjust it for the proper height for the heat. Well, I tell you, the time isn't important. The color of the wood is. These softer white woods, they turn black, where hickory turns brownish and black. You don't want it charred. You want to cook it. And I always cook these for around 2 hours to make sure they're thoroughly cooked. Combustion in wood takes place at around 300 degrees. What I found out you have to watch with the softer, lighter woods is to make sure, like the coals are smoking because they're catching now, you got to make sure the wood isn't smoking. Okay, that's important. If it is, you got to raise it up a little bit, cool it down, and you got to pay attention. Okay, now Keith Shannon from Shannon Outdoors came up with how to adjust the height for the heat. And I'll tell you, I tried everything, thermometers, measuring, and none of that works because of temperature change, wind, and everything. But you take your hand and you put your palm of the hand underneath the limb and you count. 1, 2, 3. At that third count, it should be hot enough that you want to pull your hand out. And common sense is involved in this like anything else. You don't want to cook your hand, but when it's hot enough you can't take it, pull it out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let me try it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now the other thing I want to tell you when you're fire hardening is you have a riser. If you have a riser and not just one even bow blank, without a handle or riser, then what you do is you use that stick I was talking about. And I already leveled these coals out, and I removed coals from under here. There's only one layer of a couple of coals. And as they deteriorate, I'll put 1 or 2 more coals in place of them. So under here, I don't have a lot of coals. There's just a small layer. because obviously this will combust before anything else because it's lower and closer if you allow it to be closer. So use the stick, keep it a nice distance, and we got a start time. We're going to call it 10:30. And even though, like I said, the time isn't that important, I let them go for 2 hours, and I check them all the time. I'm constantly checking them, but usually at the half-hour mark, I'll put it up for a video, and I'll show you what it looks like at a half-hour mark. Okay, so we're going to monitor it. Also, the other thing is, like, when you put the clamps on, you're heat treating it. There's some spaces here and all. You don't want to gorilla it, put pressure on it, do something crazy like put pliers on it and twist it, because you're going to crack the wood. But as it gets hot here, as the wood cooks, these clamps, the wood shrinks and it'll get soft, and you'll be able to look at this. All right, here's a good example. This has been on for like maybe 10 minutes higher, and look how much I'm turning it. I'm not forcing this. Look, it's unbelievable. This wood will be shrinking. Okay, make sure all these clamps here. Down here where I had a twist, I have multiple clamps, and that's to ensure that when this is cooked, that twist is out of this. All right, I'm glad that worked out, that I showed you and you got to see, even after 10 minutes here, that the clamps are loose enough to tighten it and get this a little more flush. And we're going to check it every 10 minutes. We're going to make sure there's no wood smoke in. We're going to make sure the clamps aren't loose. And that's really all it is to it. It's a waiting game. All right, it's a waiting game. It's kind of like a little boring. I bring out a radio and I put the radio on in between. And just if you're ever doing any of these recordings, don't have the radio on while you're talking. Because a while back, I made a video and there was a song that came on, and I got a little notice that it was a violation of the copyright law. So I had to go take that little section out of the video because the radio was on and play the song. So that's all, just sharing what I know with you. Keep you update. Sassafras, 3-day-old. Hopefully we make a bow and it don't break. Give you a little heads up. If you see the videos on this, it means it didn't break. We're about 20 minutes into this cook. And just to show you, I'm knocking off a lot of ash. Okay, we want to keep these coals going. The foil underneath is so air can get around them. Okay. Every 20 minutes or so, you do need to knock this ash off and add coals. And what I didn't tell you was, at this 20-minute mark, I just tightened all these clamps. Oh, look. These clamps were all loose. So you got to keep, don't tighten them super tight. Just snug them all. You want them all snug, because if the limbs, especially in the ends, are twisted and you have multiple clamps, as it gets hot, you'll be able to straighten it out. And with the cooking and the temperature goes through the wood, it'll take that and it'll get rid of that twist for you. But gentle. Don't over tighten anything, okay? I'm not going to show you me adding coals on. I'm going to stop it here, and then another 15 minutes or so, I'm going to pick it up and show you what it looks like around that half-hour mark. I took off the ash, put some coals on. I got it cooking. It's about that half-hour mark. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up and show you what it looks like at that half-hour mark. Okay, from the riser, got a little color going from the fade-outs out to the limbs, the end of the limbs. Okay, going to go to the left from the riser. We got a little color going on in the fade outs, and we're going out to the end of the limbs on the left. Okay, we're going to need a little more color. We got color throughout, just needs to be a little more color. And we're going to put it back down, and it's got to go about another hour and a half. We got it back down, cooking again. We're going to check the heat, maybe a little lower. That 3 count. better. And like I said, you have to watch it. I added new coals, and as these coals catch, it's going to get a little hotter. You may have to raise it up. So that's why you're constantly checking the temperature with the palm of your hand up under the limb to make sure that you got that 3 count. And got to be honest with you, I had the honor of talking to Keith Channon, and he was very helpful. He was really willing to share his knowledge, and I suggest you go to Shannon Outdoors and buy his fire hardening DVD, because it allows you to go get trees, local whitewoods, and put them on and fire harden them. And this is day 3 here. I'm fire hardening a bow that was a live tree 3 days ago. So when this is done, we're going to hydrate it, and in the next couple of days, we're going to tiller it. So it's incredible. It keeps you from being ripped off by a lot of these guys selling staves, and you get garbage because they think they got a gold mine, and they rip you off. And not everybody, there's some good sellers out there, but I got to tell you, we've all been ripped off, and we all know it buying wood. So this is a great thing to get. Go buy that DVD and watch it. You'll learn a lot. From the riser going to the right, we got color going all the way down to the tips. From the riser going to the left, we got that color in the fade out going down. Color going down, all the way going down to the tips. And this is an hour. We've still got an hour to go. We got that stick. Be aggressive. Knock the ash off. Move the coals around. We're at that hour mark now. We don't want the ash suffocating the coals. Want to keep them going. Don't be afraid. Knock them around. Do a good job. Get that heat flowing. And we're going to add some coals and allow them to catch. We're going to add some coals. We're going to lower this, and we're just going to watch it that as the coals catch, it gets hotter, and we may have to raise it. While this was up, I moved the clamps just to have them in different spots. More, I think, for aesthetics, where the white spots are, where the clamps were. I moved it down, but also to let the heat flow around directly on the wood. And I got new coals on here, and you see it looks pretty low, right? But I knocked the ash off, so we got some heat going. And as soon as these start to catch, it's got to go higher. Okay, a little low. And this is how we do it, that 1, 2, 3 count. Okay, pay attention when you add coals. You might have hot spots, and you have to use that stick to knock them around. See you in another half hour or so. But meanwhile, I'm going to check it at like every 10 minutes intervals, and I'm making sure the wood isn't smoking. It's been an hour and a half now, and we're going to put it up. I'm going to show you what it looks like at an hour and a half. Before I raise this, I make sure that the clamps are tight. And remember, I moved the clamps. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like on the center of the riser. We got nice color. We got a lot more color going on in the fade outs and all the way out. We got color going out right out to the tips. From the center of the riser, we're going to go out. We got color in the fade outs. We're going to go down. We got color all the way down. We even got color in the tips. We're going to put it down, monitor it, and we'll see in a half hour if we're going to let it go beyond the 2 hours. We're just at that 2 hour mark. Make sure all the clamps are tight. I added the rest of the coals. There wasn't many left, but look, you see it's tightening up here. And we're going to let it go for another half hour because the wood's so thick. It's just so thick that you can see the fire hardening is penetrating through some of the wood. But I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to let it cook for another half hour. So this will be a 2.5 hour cook. And then I'll show you what it looks like. This has been going for 2.5 hours, and I'm going to say it's cooked. And we're going to put it on the table over there and show you what it looks like. And have it on the table, and we're going to let it cool, and then we'll talk. It's cool. I removed the clamps, and at the end, they got like 1/4 of an inch of spring back on each side. I want to show you how it looks. This wood, this sassafras, didn't get the color that I did with all the other woods. And I don't understand why. The heat, how I checked the heat was the same. And that's the reason why I let it go for an extra half hour. But it did work. These limbs were twisted, dipped, crazy. And because of the fire hardening, they're absolutely straight. All the extra clamps and the heat and the fire hardening straight these limbs out. So in my conversations with Keith Shannon, he expressed how important it is to hydrate these bows after you cook them. And he said that something that stuck in my head, and hope it'll stick in your head, as good as he is at tillering, you cannot tiller a potato chip. Okay, makes sense, right? So if this thing's brittle, and because it's got no moisture in it, it'll break. So you see me at the end of these videos here, right? Let me just show you the back set that we got on this first. All right, first of all. Okay, we got that nice little back set. Very little back set, but it's like about an inch back set, maybe a little less, okay? But getting back to the tiller and a potato chip, you see this rag? It's soaking wet. Every one of these bows that I heat treat, I get a soaking wet rag. It's in a bowl of water. And I absolutely drench the wood. And this isn't something I do once. I take that rag and I wet it. And I soak this wood up. Soak this wood with water several times. It's 1 o'clock. And I'm probably going to keep on doing this now and then till maybe 6 o'clock tonight. Okay, don't be afraid. Fire hardening changes the cells, makes it waterproof to a degree. It makes it stronger. It straightens things out. It'll make it springier and snap back after you shoot. It's a great thing. It changes the molecular structure of the cells, I believe. But it will accept water, and if you tested this with a moisture meter, it'd be 0. All right, maybe not now that it's dripping with water. It'll make contact, but we're gonna hydrate this several times during the afternoon and evening. And I am not going to tiller a potato chip. Okay, I'm going to have enough moisture in here that it'll be able to flex. I won't floor tiller it now. I won't do nothing to it. The only thing that I do after I harden this, I'm sorry. And the only thing I do after I fire harden this is hydrate. Okay? And we'll see when I'm going to tiller it next. You know, I usually do things sometimes the next day, but I'm not sure. I may want to put tips on it. See, that's the thing. When you make a wood that usually breaks, you want to take the time and put antler tips on it, the extra time to see it break. You know, I could put rawhide on this and it'd be bulletproof, but I don't want to. I want to try and get this bending with just a natural back. And that's what I'm going to try and do. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Hope you learned from this that you could straighten out your crooked pieces. You change the structure of the wood. It's a good thing. Fire hardening is a great thing. You're able to get trees, cut them down. This is 3 days old, okay? And the only thing that you have to remember is when you're done fire hardening it, put moisture back. Okay? I'll see you on the tillering tree. Every year I have these pair of mallards come back, and they hang out in the pool, and even when I'm shooting the bow at the targets over there, they just watch me. And they come back year after year. I'm surprised they lasted another hunting season. Good morning. Today's March 7th, Friday. It's only been 4 days since this was a living tree. Yesterday I put on horn tips, buffalo horn tips, and shaped them this morning. Actually, I shaped them and glued them on cut string grooves in this morning. So it's looking good. And today we're going to try and get it to bend. I know if I had rawhide back this, I wouldn't have to worry tillering it. But supposedly it's weak in tension, and there's a good chance it could break. And you saw me, I've been hydrating it, and I'm just hoping to get a bend out of it. I'm going to put it on the tillering stick, and we're going to start from level and bring it down just a little past level. We're only going to go an inch at a time and tiller it, and hopefully we'll see what happens. If I hear the slightest little crack, check it, and if I can get away with it, I'll have to rawhide it. But I'm hoping to get a bow just the way it is with the natural back. Besides, this natural back, once I took it off the jig, it was a little rough. I sanded it with 150 lightly and 230, but you can still see all the texture in it. Okay, Sassafras. I marked the bow for the tillering process from the center to the fade outs are even. From the fade out to the edge of the string groove I measured, came down 1 inch. Came down 1 inch on the string groove. Okay, this is a tillering mark from the bottom of the string groove. I made a mark 1 inch. From the bottom of the string groove, I went down, I made a mark 1 inch. That'll be where we put the tillering stick. And between here, this 1 inch mark and the fade out, I drew the center line. Okay, this way we have a reference point for bending, trying to get this bow to bend and flex. And wish me luck, we're going to start. Okay, here we are. First bend. Got it just down a little bit more past level. And I'm going to come back and look at it. We got the fade out mark and the end mark, and we can see it needs a little bend here. Okay, a little bend here. All right, we're going to have to work on that. Not bad for the first bend. Not bad at all. And this one looks pretty outstanding, actually. We need just a little bit here. Okay, I'm going to work on it, go back and forth, remove some material. And just so you know, when I remove material, wherever I mark with the pencil, I start sanding from the inside and work my way out a little bit. And then I'll check it again, and it's a process over and over and over again. The first time I remove material, let's see how we did. Here's the fade out. Here's the 1 inch mark. Going to come back a little. Okay, I removed that little bit of material there. It's looking better. And we still have the flat spot here. We got to go a little bit more. So we need that little bit of a flat spot right here. This needs a little work right here. Okay, let's see what we got over here. This one we had to do a little bit on the outer. And look at that. All right. Drops down. It's hard to do, but here. Trying to get it on the video. I mean, I can hold it up and look at it without a video, but look at that. It's perfect, right? Nice image going back and forth. Okay, so we're going to work on that and get back to you. Back and forth, back and forth. With these softer woods, especially ones guys say tend to be weak in tension. And we'll see how this one, if it lasts or not, but you want it perfect. You only want to go down an inch at a time and make a perfect bend. And the idea is when you take these little low spots off Everything's working evenly, and the stress and tension is distributed evenly, and that'll give you half a chance of making a bow. So I removed some material, and we actually have that perfect bend, and that's what we're trying to get. From the center, a mirror image on each side, okay? When I held this up last time, I saw just a tiny bit needed to bend here, and I just hit it lightly. Remember, the soft woods, the sanding comes off easy, and we got that really nice bend on both sides. So what we're going to do is go down another inch. And we're going to see if anything really pops out going down another inch. And it don't. It looks good. It really does. Because we took the time early on, this first two times to make it perfect. And look at that. We got a nice bend. We can go down another inch. Because all the forces are bending evenly, and we're going to give it a shot. Now we're starting to get some weight built up on this, and I'm going to have to remove some material to lighten it up just a little bit. But let's see what we got. I mean, it's perfect. Beautiful bend, okay? So we know that the force is being distributed fairly equal. Look at that. I'm going to pull it down 1 more inch. See how it feels. Okay. I'm going to put the scale on after this and see what it is. See, this is measured 15.5 up here for this notch, but if I bring it down to that 15.5 inch mark, it'll tell me the weight. Okay, look, we have an incredible bend going on here. So I'm going to take the string up. I'm going to get we're going to get that scale I bought and pull it down and see what it is at this 15.5 inch mark. So far, I'm really happy with the way everything's turning out. Okay, let's see what we got at that 15.5 inch mark. Okay, we got 42 pounds. 42 pounds. So what we're going to do now is we have this beautiful bend and all. I'm going to mark the entire limb with a pencil, and I'm going to remove it, mark it again, remove it, and try to, this way it'll be even. What I do is I do strokes on the belt sander. I'll show you what I do. With this soft wood, if you're removing it by hand and you want it even, you mark this with a pencil, and then what you do is you take like 60 grit sandpaper and start and go back and forth until the line disappears. You're erasing the pencil line. Put the pencil line here, erase it with the 60 grit. And you do that 4 or 5 times and then check the weight again. But what I do I have the belt sander, I'm experienced with the belt sander, and what I'm doing is even strokes with my hand on top for a feel. And I'll just do a couple quick to show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I took 10 strokes off each limb, and the noise will drive you crazy. So, but anyway, I'm going to take off another 10 to 15 more strokes on this because it's heavy. It's heavy. And then we're going to put it on the scale and see what we got. And also check it with the yardstick. We want that, when we remove material, we've got to check it. We want that bend nice and perfect, especially when you have, this soft wood, a little iffy in compression, and a little iffy in tension. You want that, you want it to bend. So that's the deal. I'm going to take off some more strokes. We're going to put it on. We're going to check with the yardstick to make sure it's bending right. We're going to check it with the scale, and I'll show you. I removed a total of 30 strokes on each side. I just want to check the bend again. We're at that 15.5-inch mark. I'm going to step back and look at this a little bit. Okay, there's nothing that jumps out. We still got that really nice bend going on. Still got a really nice bend going on over here too. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it here. I want to measure from the midpoint to this before we even pull down on the weight. I want to see if these limbs are bending even. So we're going to put this like this, and then we're going to go from the center point, and we have an inch and an eighth. And then we're going to come over here and see what we got here before we check the weight. Wow, an inch and an eighth. Okay, so what we're going to do is, that's amazing. It's amazing. So what we're going to do now is check the weight. Going to go down to where we had it before, that 15.5-inch mark. Okay, we got 37 pounds. We got 37 pounds. And I'm not sure. I really think, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to make this a hunting weight bow. I'm not really sure yet. I have to decide. I kind of like using these bows at the 3D tournaments and just shooting in the yard, and I like the lighter weight, especially with a tear in my rotator cuff, which I think I'm going to have done before the winter. So I'm going to remove some more weight because, we don't even have it down to where you could put a string on it. I'm going to remove some more weight and get back. Today is another super windy day. High wind gust. Remove some more material. Let's see what it is at that 15.5-inch mark with the loose string. And that mark is nothing more than a reference point because I have a loose string. Okay, we're at 34 pounds. Okay, 34 pounds. We're gonna go check the tiller now with the yardstick. We're gonna see if anything jumps out that I remove material. We got that beautiful bend. I can't stress how important it is to remove material early and get a perfect bend early, especially with any wood that's tension weak or softer wood. Because you want all the pressure on the back of the bow, part that faces away from you, to be evenly distributed. That's really perfect. So let's go down a little more now. Let's see, are we getting anywhere near where we could put a string on it? Top of the 5.5 is where we want to be. Nope, we still have a little bit more to go. Let's check out the bend. There's absolutely nothing that jumps out. It looks good. So windy, I can't even hold this. An absolutely perfect bend. Let's go down a little bit more. We're at 17. We're at 17 inches, and we're going to see what it is. Okay, we got another perfect bend going on over here. And we got another perfect bend over here. We're going to stop it, and we're going to pull down to the top of this 18.5 mark and see how many pounds it is. This is my good friend Jason stopped by, and we're going to check the weight on this bow here. I explained to him the tillering and all. Maybe we'll get him to make a bow. He shoots Thursday night archery with us at Peconic River Sportsman's Club, and he shoots the 3D shoots, and he's a lot of fun. So we have a good time. I
love archery.
It's addicting. It's so addicting. It really is.
It's the best thing ever.
Yep.
And Joe is the greatest thing ever. He's a celebrity.
Yeah,
look what he does.
Yeah.
Some say a sickness, but we still love him.
There you go. It is a little bit of a sickness. We have been teaching archery. I've been teaching traditional archery with some of the guys lately, and we've got a lot of new people coming in. It's unbelievable. I've offered free classes at Peconic River for introduction to traditional archery, and the letter comes out in the morning, and we can only take 12 people. We have 14. We had 14 twice now. It fills up at 10 o'clock. So I tell them, well, try next month. So
it's hotter than Taylor Swift tickets.
There you go. See? All right. So let's check this out, Jason, while we got here.
Sure.
So what I did was I explained to him how we get this bend and distribute the weight so the bow don't break. And now we're trying to see the scale, the weight. We don't want to go over whatever our goal weight is when we pull it down. Well, and this is the beginning. So I kept on removing equal strokes to lighten the bow. So we're going to take this off, and we're going to hook the scale on. And we're going to go down like to 15.5 here and see what it is at 15.5. I think we went down more. I forget what it was, 18. Okay, well,
this is a good bow for me.
At 18, it's 38. At 18, it's 38 pounds. At 18.
So what do you think that's over 50 at a
well, with a string on it? Yeah, we got to take off a lot of weight.
Right.
So the bottom line is we have a lot of weight to take off, and we're almost at the point where we could put a string on it, but we got to be careful when you get to this point. You take off only a few strokes at a time, because you don't want to lose that goal weight that you want. So back and forth. All right, I got to go help Jason with something, and we'll continue this a little later. It's like a hurricane out here.
Terrific bow building weather.
Yeah. Okay, here we are back again. Had a nice little break inside. My friend stopped for a visit, and we're back to tillering. I'm going to check this out. I'm going to go down to 16.5 and check it out. I don't remember where we were before. Oh, that wind is crazy today. We got that perfect bend going on. Perfect bend going on. It's beautiful. When you go down an inch at a time, you can really get a great tiller. So this is at this 16.5 inch mark. Let me see how much weight it is. All right, we got 36 pounds. And let me see what that is. That's 16.5 inch mark. And we got to take off. I got to reduce some more weight. Like I showed you, I'm going to take strokes off each limb. We're going to make this a 37-pound bow. I think that's the goal. So it's too short right now for a string. Okay. We only got 4 inches. It will be for a brace height. So I'm going to remove more material and get back to you. Okay, we got this all the way down now to 18.5 inches, and we're going to measure. We're going to check the bend out, which is an awesome bend, and we're going to see how far we come down. And it is 1 5/8. Let's see what it is over here. We got an awesome bend, and it's 1.5. So that limb over there is, we're going to call that the top limb for no other reason other than it's on the right. This limb has to come down at that 18.5. We have to make it bend a little more, a few more strokes off of this one to get it down an 1/8 inch bend more. We want everything to be even. And with wood that's sort of weak in tension, we have to be meticulous, slow, and careful. And it still could break. Okay, we're at that 18.5 inch mark again. And I remove material from this limb. And it's still got to go more. It's only 1.5 inches. Let's check this here. Well, that's something. I remove material from that one. Let me just move it up a little bit. Always measure twice, right? I got 1.5 inches now. And I removed about 10 strokes from here. Kind of evened out for some reason. They're even. Okay, they're even. We're going to go down. We're going to go down a little bit more. We want to get it to the point where we could put a string on it. Let's see. We want to get it to the middle of this 5.5 inch mark to put a string on. So we got to go another couple inches. Let's go down another inch. Okay, let's check it out. Got a beautiful bend going on. There's nothing that jumps out. We have a beautiful bend going on. We're going to go down 1 more inch. Beautiful bend. There's nothing that jumps out. That early micro tillering makes a big difference, especially, like I said, to distribute the tension on the wood. Look at that. That's awesome. Are we up to that string yet? Putting a string on? Almost. Let me see. I would say we're just about at the point where we're going to put a string on. So this is at the actually, where it comes up here, it says the 20.5 inch mark. Just for weight purposes, it'll be on the 19. We're going to pull it down to the middle of the 19.5. See what weight we got. Those marks are nothing but reference marks at this point. Okay, 19.5. At that 18.5 mark, we're 35 pounds. So when we put a string on, it's going to increase the weight a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I want to get it down a little bit more. I want to reduce a little more weight. I'm going to take about 15 strokes off each side, check it, and then we're going to put a string on it. 15 strokes each side. I got 150 sandpaper, and I'm going to just round the edges a little bit. Go over it lightly. And then I'm going to check, I have my lines for the marks. Make sure I didn't sand any of the lines off for my marks, tillering marks. If I did, I'm going to add, remark them. Now's the point where I'm going to check it, and if it's okay, I'm going to put a string on it. Okay, we're at the 20.5 inch mark, and we're going to pull down the weight to the 19.5 mark because of the angle. So let's check it out quick. We got a really nice bend. I'm going to just check the distance. I wound up taking another 20 strokes off. Boy, the wind is really crazy today. Okay, we got 1 3/4. We got 1 3/4. We're going to put the scale on, and we're going to pull the scale down to where that string is. And that string is kind of, see where that string comes out. The top of this 19.5. Here we go. Okay, we got 35 pounds. We got 35 pounds, and we're going to put a string on it. Okay, this was fire hardened and with a slight back set, and it's even. It's pretty much even. Let's see if we can put it up on this over here on the trailer for a minute. Okay, it is even. Okay, so that little 1 inch fire hardening, at least we don't have string follow. Yeah, I would say it's even. Now we're going to put a string on this. Okay, check it out. We got a nice string on it. Sassafras fire hardened bow, micro tillered. We got a brace height that's a little hair less than 6.5. And when I shape the rise, it'll be 6 3/4 is kind of what I like. From the fade out, it's 7 3/4, 7 3/4 on the bottom. The midpoint is 6 1/8. The midpoint down here is 6 1/8. Wow, it's really even. So what we're going to do is put it on the tillering tree. We're going to check it with the straight edge, and we're only going to go down a little bit and check the weight. We want a 37-pound bow, and hopefully we'll get that. Let me see. While I'm here, the string usually, now that we have it strung, the string will favor one side of the bow. And you can tell when you pull it back a little bit. Okay, so this is the top limb. Oh, good. I have the string marked for that. I'm going to mark this. Well, there's a little bit of a heat crack here in the riser, which will come out when I shape it. And that is going to be the top limb, and the top limb is going to be to the right. I think we might make a bow. Going to think positive. Right now we got a 10.5 inch draw, actual draw length. We got an absolutely beautiful bend from that early micro tillering. Okay, we got a nice bend going on. Going to try and get back and look a little bit. Looks good. There might be just a hair here. Just a hair here maybe. But we got it even measured, so I'm going to leave it for now. We got that perfect bend going on. And we're just going to see what kind of weight we got at 10.5 inches. Okay, it's about 16 pounds. Is kind of what I expected. I expected it to be under 20 at that little short distance. we're going to bring this down a little further. Okay, we got a 15.5-inch draw length, and we're going to check this out. Now we'll be able to check it out. And now when we look at it, it looks good. We still got that nice bend going on. We got that nice bend going on. We're going to see what we got at that 15.5-inch mark for weight. Okay, we got 27 pounds. I think we're going to be close to that 35. Let's pull it down a little more. We got an 18.5. Okay, look at it. We got a nice bend, 18.5-inch draw length. Got a nice bend, 18.5-inch draw length. We had a wind gust, had to be over 50 miles an hour, knocked down the camera. Hopefully it'll stay. I got it against my son's truck now. We're going to go down to that 18.5-inch brace height and see what kind of weight we have. We got 31 pounds. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down real quick. I think we're going to have that 37 pounds I want at my draw length. We got 18.5-inch draw length now. We're going to go down to like 24 quick. Or we're going to go down to like feel tension. Okay, we're down at a 20-inch draw length, which is actually 22 inches because we got to add the riser. Okay, we got a great bend going on here. We got a great bend going on here. Nothing jumps out. Everything looks good. And we're at 20.5 inches. I want to see what kind of weight we got. We got 35 at 20.5 inches. 35 at 20.5 inches. I'm going to stop it for a second here. Let's take a break after that wind gust. Okay, I'm holding the stand here. That 20.5 inches is actually a 22.5-inch draw. So we're getting there. We almost could say we made a bow. We're almost at that point. So I'm going to go down to 22, which will be 24. And then we're going to shape the handle and shoot it. I'm going to see what it is quick at 24. I'm going to pull it down with the scale and see what 22 is. That'll be 24 inches. Okay, we're going down at 22 inches, which would be 24. We got 38. 38. 38 pounds at 24. I think I'm going to take just a little bit of weight off. I'm going to take a few strokes off, and we're going to come back and check it again. I just want to make it around 37. I really don't want it much over that at my draw length. Just a few strokes. You got to be careful now. Now we're at the point where you do a little too much, and you're below your goal weight. And I sanded the edges nice and round. And once I confirm, we got that nice mirror image, which we do. It's going to be all the way down through. Let's see what kind of weight we got as we pull it down now. Okay, we got to take off a little more weight. Going to check it again. If we go down to 24, which is be here, that's 26. So let's see. We're at 39 pounds. I'm going to take a few more strokes off, and we're going to check it again. Okay, once again, whenever I do weight reduction and I have the string, I measure from my marks again to see if the limbs are bending. The bottom limb needed a little bit more bending, and I corrected that now. So now we're going to put it on the tillering tree, and just to be safe, we're going to check it with the yardstick, and we're going to see how many pounds it is. Okay, we got a 17-inch draw, and we can see we got a beautiful bend. There's nothing going on here. Okay, we got a beautiful bend, nothing going on here. We're going to put the scale on again. Hopefully nothing blows down. Let me grab the camera. Okay, whatever the draw weight is, I think this is going to be it. Whatever it is, it is. We're done. Because I had to adjust the bottom limb, it's going to be maybe a little less than I wanted. There may be around 34 pounds. Let's see. So the goal is to go down to this 24 and a half, and that should be my draw length. Well, look at that. We got a 35-pound bow. Perfect. Let's do a quick profile check. Okay, it looks good. I'm going to shape the handle, and then we're going to put a shelf in it, and we're going to shoot it. Okay, I shaped the riser. We have a crown shelf, a radius riser. I sanded it. Before I finish it with whatever I do, I'm going to sand it a little more. But I'm a little disappointed. I think what I should have did was taken down the limbs a little more, but I didn't know how the weight was going to come out. I should have took the limbs down a little more before I fire hardened it to get a little more fire hardening through it, because when I look at it now, it has what I would call maybe a little string follow, slight bit, so it went from being level to that slight little bit of string follow. Okay, and but it's okay. We've got a nice bow. I made a bow out of a living tree that was cut down 4 days ago, fire hardened it, shaped it, tiller it, and we're going to go out and shoot it. And I guess I'm pretty happy with that, because everything I read about sassafras, a lot of them break. And what I did with this one, you can see, look at the back of it. It's round, right? I took off the bark. I left some sapwood on, okay, which looks like a mixture of sap and cambium. I had sanded it a little bit too before I tillered it. Okay, let's go out and shoot this thing. Well, I finished it. This is my 66-inch fire-hardened sassafras bow that was a living tree 4 days ago. Has horn tips. It's 35 at 26.5 inches, my draw length. And this softer, lighter wood isn't as fast as, like, let's say the hickory. I know that for a fact. And we're going to shoot these 700 spine entradas, which if they impact a little to the left, they're stiff. If they impact a little to the right, they're weak. So let's see how it shoots. I'm going to aim for like the lower third of that bear and see how it goes. Okay, try to be that shooting machine. Keep your hand up, your hand against your face. That impact was a little to the left of where I was aiming. I bet you I have 800 spine arrows inside. I bet you they'd be really on the money, but let's see if we can get a group going on. be like a 60-mile-an-hour gust. That was crazy. All right, let's continue the shot. That was wild. Okay, grouping good. Let's, for the heck of it, try 20 yards. We're going to go for that, my new deer target at 20 yards where the bag target is. Oh, I don't know what it hit, bounced off. Let's try one more time. Okay, they're impacting to the left, which means that the spine is a little stiff. So I'm going to stop it here, and I'm going to show you. We're going to get 800s and shoot it again. I got those 800 spine vectors. Let's see, is that the name? Vector, yep. Eastern Vectors, 800 spine. Let's see how these shoot. Right on. You see that? The weakest spine moved it over. They were shooting stiff. They were going to the left. I used 800. They moved to the right. Okay, let me try the 20-yard deer, and I'll show you the arrows. So my impressions of this bow is, compared to the other woods, all right, it's not as fast. It's a lighter wood. It's fairly smooth shooting. It really is. It's accurate when you have the right arrows. Oh, that was a miss. I record everything, good, bad, and different. It was a miss. Got to be that shooting machine. Okay. Better. I actually focused. Try again. I'm a little tired in the wind and everything. I'm lucky I'm hitting the target. There we go. Oh, hold on. Wind gust. I think we're good. Okay. Let's go take a look at it. That's the end of this video. Let me show you the arrows. Just like this, just like there's a correct caliber for a gun, there's a correct spine for the arrows. Okay, this is a brand new bow. They're almost touching with the correct spine. Here we are at 20. Okay, and the one miss, I don't know what I did. But anyway, just want to share with you my Sassafras bow named Sassy. This is Sassy the Sassafras bow. And it's a nice bow. It's a fun bow to shoot. You just need the correct spine arrows for your lighter bow. And it shoots just as good. All right. Some bows that are really fast, you need a heavier arrow for, a stiffer spine. Some bows that are a little slower, you can get the same performance out of with a light 800 spine arrow like this. You see, it shoots well, right? All right, so that's the end of this video. I'm happy. I successfully made a bow, a beautiful bow, out of a living tree. And when you're cutting it, it smells like root beer. So thanks for watching. Every day you wake up is a great day. Get out, shoot, make a bow. And I would suggest that if you're interested in fire hardening, you go to Shannon Outdoors and check out his fire hardening DVD. It'll save you a lot of money. You're able to get whitewoods in your area, and it'll give you a good idea on fire hardening. Look at my videos to see how I made my portable fire hardening jig out of a regular charcoal grill on wheels and a $12 piece of gutter. All right? And 2x4s for the stanchions to hold the bow or the jig. All right? Have a good day. Thanks for watching.